Hello and welcome everyone. Hope you all are doing well. We should be getting started soon. I have run into some minor technical difficulties with my Switch plus Elgato yet again. Probably just a result of my own lack of familiarity with the platform, but should be up and running relatively soon here. Just needed to restart for a software update and be good to go as soon as that's done. Fingers crossed. So by way of an introduction, tonight we're going to be talking about Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening was one of my favorite games when I was a kid. It was one of the first games I ever played back on the old black and white Game Boy. Not to age myself or whatever, but it's an old favorite. And it was honestly like one of the games that I started low-key speedrunning at the time. Now this was before speedrunning had kind of blown up. With AGDQ and stuff like that. But basically, I would just play the game over and over and over again in order to try to see how fast I could complete it, without any like glitches or anything like that. Just being enamored with the game. So I haven't played this game in a long time, but with the advent of the announcement of the Ocarina of Time remake and other my remake project I was working on wrapping up. I'm enjoying the idea of having this series where we kind of examine remakes and remasters versus their originals. So last time, of course, we looked at the original game and then we talked a little bit about the remaster or remaking effort of Halo Combat Evolved, aka or into Campaign Evolved. And today we're going to be doing the opposite. Since I really don't have a whole lot of fresh memories about this game kind of stored in my, my memory bank, so to speak, I figured let's do the flip side. Let's start with the remake, see how we feel about it, and then either after completing it or after completing a couple levels, hop back into the original next week and compare and contrast and see, okay, well, what was lost, if anything, what was retained overall, like what does this game do to preserve or enhance or expand on its legacy, or if it fails in that endeavor, how does it fail, if it even does, if that's even fair to say. So one of the assets that I think is like made or how can I say this? We've talked before about how the limitations of a given time, medium, technology, or whatever can actually impose creative constraints that then wind up defining parts of the game and making them cool. For example, I don't think that Drakengard, as much as I love it, as much as I want more people to play it, I don't think that it really should have a remake. Oh, it's looping. Let me just switch over to the Switch. Okay, there we go. I don't really think it should necessarily have a remake because part of its atmosphere, part of what makes it so cool and chilling and haunting and all that, is the fact that everything feels kind of uncanny valley, feels a little bit washed out, like kind of hollow, like we were talking about with in the Halo CE as well. It has that kind of lonely, nostalgic, open-ended feeling to it. So I think that would be lost in with more realistic graphics. And conversely, when I first played Link's Awakening, it also had that kind of feel to it, in my opinion. Well, no, that's phrasing it incorrectly. A better way to put it would be that because the graphics were rudimentary, they were kind of like limited by the time, there was a lot of room for your brain to fill in the gaps and kind of conjure up an image of what things looked like. And personally, intuitively, when I saw that this remaster had been, launched, uh, unveiled, whatever, I it really clashed with my own personal mental image of what this game was and what I thought it was supposed to be. So I'm going in with an open mind, but I'm going in coming from a prior skeptical place. When I actually saw this game, I was like, this doesn't match up with the game that I remember. This is not my Link's Awakening, and I want to see if that is a fair statement. Recently, we've been talking about, uh, you know, the differences in opinion in the fan base between games like Breath of the Wild versus the OG Zelda series. Is Breath of the Wild Zelda enough? Is it catering or pandering? Pandering feels too pejorative, but like, is it catering to a different demographic, a different time frame, a different generation? And is that okay? Um, when the remake comes out, should it be more sensitive to legacy players or new players, or does it even matter, right? Interesting questions. So this is an opportunity for me to confront my own like prejudices or my own I guess, like knee-jerk emotional response to this title and see how I feel about it after I actually spend some time with it and give it a chance. So that being said, let me say hi to folks in chat real quick, and then we're going to get started. Stream's probably going to go for 2-3 hours at most tonight. It won't be a big legacy marathon stream like the Naruto one was last time, although that was a lot of fun. Appreciate anybody who stopped by and checked that out. We got quite a few views on that one, so I appreciate the feedback and all that. And it was really cool to just hang out with everybody and share opinions and stuff like that. I will say, before I proceed, shout out to Cat with a Monocle for the thumbnail source for the stream itself. I'll put that in the stream description itself. Shout out to Serenity for leaving a comment on the previous stream and being cordial while also, expressing their, expressing their feelings directly about the use of their content. I appreciated that. Shout out to Noodles, surprisingly, who left a comment on that video and was actually pretty polite and cordial and reasonable, especially considering that I had been very critical, as I'm sure you know, in that video. I was pleasantly surprised by that. Don't know if we're gonna have a dialogue in the future, but I'm open to it, and I'm gonna try to take the feedback to heart. I forget who said this to me, but like that it's probably more productive if I try to have dialogues with people directly as opposed to taking pot shots on stream or whatever. Although I'd like to think of my feedback and critique as being more than a pot shot. I'd like to think of it as decently constructed peer review. But still, there's a difference between like the sort of tennis back and forth. I react to your shit, you react to my shit, or whatever, or even just like comment tennis versus an actual dialogue. So I'm gonna take that to heart, and I hope that we will have the opportunity to reconcile and have a chat at some time in the future. But I won't push it, so we'll just see. In the meantime, yeah, let's get right into it. Let me check with chat. Yo, Shinigami, it's good to see you. How are you doing? I'm doing okay myself. Shinigami's going to be drawing, making one of my female characters a Disney princess. That's cool. She will look so adorable and feminine. I'd be happy to see it if you want to share the art when you're done. Something a lot of people seem to love how princess coded she is. Well, that's great. Hey, I'm glad you're getting good feedback for your hard work, man. That's awesome. You watch K-pop Demon Hunters? Yeah, I would be curious to hear your thoughts. I saw it a couple of months ago with my partner. I wasn't a huge fan, but I did like a lot of individual moments in it. Um, and mostly my skepticism about it is that I have an inherent skepticism towards the idol industry in general. I do genuinely like some K-pop stuff. Like, I one of my favorite like pop songs is I forget if it's just called like G Baby or G G G G whatever the hell it's called by Girls' Generation. That song fucking slaps. I love it so much. I also like some songs by B2ST. Um, and so like I do enjoy that genre, but also I've heard some pretty upsetting things about how the performers are treated, how micromanaged and controlled their lives are. And so I kind of feel almost like maybe this is a bad analogy, but I kind of feel like going to watch a horse race where it's like you see this performance of something that is so like worked on so hard and it's such peak within its own realm, so to speak. You have these extremely highly trained and choreographed, no, not choreographed, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like in order to be a professional jockey, you need to have a long-standing relationship with your horse. You need to be an expert. You need to be in a particular kind of physical shape. The horse itself needs to be athletic, obviously. And so when you see a display of this sort of thing, it's like, wow, I'm witnessing something rare and amazing and awesome. And also, that horse is it probably worked to the bone. That jockey may or may not actually be healthy. The horse, if it winds up taking any kind of damage whatsoever or getting injured, like it'll be destroyed, sadly, in many cases. Although there's more of a how do you say a move towards like ethical treatment and like retiring these days, but still traditionally, you're watching something that is the byproduct of potentially pain and manipulation, for lack of a better word. So, based on what I've heard about the K-pop industry, I'm very skeptical about supporting it like categorically because of that. But if you're able to kind of like separate art from the industry behind it in this case, I do think it is a very well animated, very well colored, very entertaining movie. And I really really love that like demon ghost. It's not a demon, right? The spirit cat thing that's always like knocking stuff over. I love that thing so much. Um, Unfortunately, I haven't read the stuff for Light versus Itachi. I do genuinely appreciate all the hard work that you put into it, and I encourage you to continue with it. I don't know if and when I'm going to be able to commit to like really going through it all. I'll just have again kind of a lot on my plate, of course. So, but I want to encourage you to pursue it for sure. Remember the whole thing on emotional management. Me and a friend agreed Light got it over Itachi due to the constant high and emotional control he has to do in it. Not just high stress situations, maybe not comparable to straight up fight like Itachi, but still stressful. He's also a very emotional person, and so the curve for him to manage his own emotions is higher than Itachi. Um, yeah, I think also that like especially if you read the novels, like Itachi was kind of raised in like a terroir of constant warfare and struggle and strife, and so Light kind of, happened into his supernatural situation almost by chance. And he had the right temperament for it, but he doesn't have the mental psychological warrior's training that Itachi does. It is a double-edged sword though, because I think, I haven't watched that video yet, but I need to check that one out about like the Shinobi rules rule book and like show no tears. I forget if it was like Jubita's or I forget who the maker of that video was, but I have it saved, and it's definitely something that I'm interested in reviewing because yeah, just like Sybil kind of covered in her video and Sage's Rain covered in his video, uh, there is a lot of toxic masculinity in Naruto. That takes the form of essentially, you know, uh, evangelizing or promoting or encouraging the suppression of emotion and like stealing yourself and not feeling, not showing any tears, which is interrogated immediately by the series with the whole like Land of Waves arc between Naruto, Zabuza, and Haku. Like the idea of just being a tool to be sacrificed or used by someone else at the expense of your own feelings and whatnot. That is brought up and established and then immediately critiqued internally. So yeah, it's definitely worth talking about. But I think that the double-edged sword of Itachi's situation is that he probably has lost a little bit of his of ability to stay in touch with some of his emotions. But that's debatable, right? Saria might show up. Yeah, sometimes she shows up a little later. It's totally fine. I think she might still be in French, right? Oh, that image that flashed up. Yeah, sorry about that. The song that you hear in the intro of my streams is from the Near Gestalt soundtrack, and that is the character Grimoire Vice from that game, and it's just essentially what did I say? It's essentially a sentient talking book, and that's the cover art for the soundtrack. So that's what you're seeing there. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the movie, though. It was nicely with Wings Club, totally spies Kim Possible. Leaving behind Supergirl before arriving, cool, cool. I never considered the idea that he touched just used to 24/7, having to be constantly stoic, so it be habit as he grows older. Yeah, it's worth considering, and this is made extremely like it's a big part of the novels because I think he's like 4 years old when he is on the battlefield with I want to say with his dad, and he's like walking alongside the battlefield and staring at it with his dad, and he's looking at all the suffering and death, and he's shocked by it, and he kind of resolves in that moment to bring an end to warfare. So in a sense, like his whole motivation is motivated by empathy and compassion, but he is exposed to so much brutality and so much pain and suffering and isolation, and he has to essentially steel his heart, like not thieve it, like make it cold and emotionless in order to make any progress in the world, right? So, from like the assassination of his clan being something that is it kind of epitomizes that. With that being said, happy to continue the dialogue, but in the meantime, I'm going to get started. So glad they kept the animated cutscene. They retain the old style of it too, kind of like updated. I love all those sketch lines and everything. It's really beautiful. I remember the original being a little bit more dramatic. He was like more in peril. I think he was like clinging onto the mast or something. Very interesting. I will say right out of the gate, everything seems very beautiful, and my initial feeling is pretty similar. The performances of the musicians here is great, the arrangement of the score is great, but I think something gets lost with the realism, and I think that, like, the characters looking so cute makes it feel a little bit more like reassuring or warm or something, whereas I prefer the sense of a bit more danger, if that makes any sense. But I miss this song. I love this song. The nice little snare hits in the background of the soundtrack are really good. Oh, cool! They mixed in some like retro sounds too. That's cute. I think I'm just gonna go with Link. If I remember correctly, if you type in the name Zelda, like it gives you a different, something happens differently, I forget. It's like a little Easter egg. I'm having a little snack too. I'll move the mic away for 1 second. I actually really like the, just taking a second to listen to the soundtrack. Really beautiful, really pretty. It's got a nice mixture of a retro feeling, like, it's not, they didn't, like, take the sound font from the old games, but they have incorporated a synthesizer sound that feels modern, but also is, like, straddling the line between modern and retro. And the little, like, ambient reverbified strings in the background, kind of just, like, shimmering there. They're a little bit panned to the left. They're just kind of adding a little bit of padding. Very, very nice. Very lovely. So it's almost like... I feel like this soundtrack... I wonder if it's going to be... I feel like it's potentially going to be a metaphor for the rest of the game. In that there is a retro, old school... thread through it that has been modernized, and then underneath that, supporting that, is a bulwark, if that's the right term, or like a, I don't know, support structure of more modern depth and I don't know, filling it out, I guess. Is this a stand for something? It says piranha plant. Oof, this looks heavier than heavy. Your current strength won't cut it. Cool. Whoa. I'm very sorry. I heard a loud audio pop. I hope that didn't happen on the stream. I apologize if that hurt anybody's ears. It hurt mine. I'll have to look into what caused that later. Sorry about that, guys. Very interesting. They decided to keep the locked 8 directions of movement here. And you know, something about it being like in 3D, but being locked to these directions, I kind of respect the choice. And also, it feels really, really weird. I can't quite describe why, but it's like, in a retro situation, like on an old game, I feel like this wouldn't bother me, but because the graphics are more modern, I expect the character to turn fully fluidly. It's so weird. I'm gonna have to get used to that. Not a flaw, but like, definitely something interesting. I love how this whole room is just kind of isolated like a little diorama. They took the idea of a, you know, the initial framing of the room, and they actually turned it into something like, you can imagine somebody making this into like a stand on Etsy or something. Characters are very lovely and expressive. They're a little uncanny valley, but that's okay. So yeah, I was very charmed by the art style so far. Just gonna press some buttons and see if we have any other verbs. Let's talk to our characters. Check here first. It sounds like they basically retained the same, like, window open close sound. Oh, Shinigami says, "Holy fuck, the opening is so good." Yeah, it's really solid. I'm curious to see where this is going for sure. The retro feeling is nice. I agree for sure. Not sure if Itachi surpasses Light in terms of how he uses his emotions to reach a desired outcome. The assassination of his clan is a major one. Yeah, that's true. He still retained his love for Sasuke the whole while, though. For Light, when he first did his first kills, he was actually emotionally violated, like he vomited on panel. That's right, that's right. And he was determined to rid the world of criminals, despite how contradictory his whole worldview is. That's true. He does have to kind of go through that arc of realizing the gravity of what he's done. Okay, let's check in with this dude. Hello, friend. Well, Link, you finally snapped out of it. Name's Taran, or Taran. Hope you're feeling better. What? How do I know your name? You think it's weird, eh? Well, I saw it on back of the shield. Nice. Put your shield back, hold R to repel enemies with it. Oh, cool. Yeah, this feels good. It looks good. It's a nice representation. I forget in the original, I feel like it must have slowed down your movement speed, but this is cool. Feels really solid. Nice. Follow the lane south to reach the beach where I found you. Since you watch the shore, lots of nasty monsters have been in the area, so be careful, okay? Some other stuff like this, watch up on the beach. If you go look, watch out for monsters. Ever since you showed up, Link, I've seen them all over the place. Cool, cool. Ooh, those nice little... Those footsteps are really good. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my god. With the cuckoo and everything. I'm just gonna take a second to, like, enjoy the atmosphere. See, I think part of the feeling of loneliness that I felt, or, you know, for lack of a better word, loneliness that I felt when I was a kid playing this game was, I talked to the fox? Huh. I don't remember that. Was the fact that, you know, the game doesn't have access to that many instruments that can play simultaneously on the Game Boy hardware. So I might be getting some of this wrong, but basically, if I understand it correctly, the way that the old, like, emulation, or the way that the old, like, synthesizers worked on older consoles that generated sound is there would be a certain number of channels that could play sound simultaneously. So usually you would have one that was dedicated to drums, or a couple dedicated to drum sounds. You would have a couple, one or two that were dedicated to, like, a lead or a support melody. Think of it like rhythm guitar versus lead guitar, a bass, and a couple other things like that, right? And the thing is, since there were so few audio channels available at the time, oftentimes they would share things. So if you go back and play a Sonic game, as an example, on Genesis, like, list, or on an emulator that emulates Genesis, assuming that you have a copy of the original game, pay attention to, like, when you jump, what sounds in the soundtrack stop playing. Super Mario 2 on Game Boy is a great example of this too, that I just happen to remember, right? Like, there will temporarily be something that stops playing from the background music when you jump, because they're essentially borrowing one of the soundtrack channels and making room for you to be able to, like, they're borrowing it to play the sound. And they have to do that and switch back and forth that way because there just aren't enough channels to support all the sounds. So nowadays, you can have either, like, higher quality MIDI or fully recorded, like, mastered, rendered audio tracks, and so you don't really need to worry about channels the same way. I mean, the concept of channels, like streaming channels, is still a thing. But essentially, like, as long as you can render out a soundtrack, you can have as many instruments as you want. You could have hundreds, even thousands of tracks in the rendered audio. And so immediately, the soundtrack makes things feel much more comfortable, much more, like, lived in. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, it's warmer, it's friendlier, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it sounds lovely, but the vibe is so different from what I remember as a kid, just because it's like, I don't know, it feels safe, it feels cozy, and there was something a little bit more mysterious and ethereal about the first game, and I think that or the original, and I think that genuinely the sparseness and the quietness of the soundtrack contributed to that. But then again, this is kind of the opposite, where like the change in instrumentation actually makes us feel a little bit more distant, a little bit more hollow. Makeup, jewels, dresses, I want it all. And some new accessories would be nice. I remember this game having like this weird like a bit of a surreal quality to it, which by the way, this game's, if you haven't played this game, the twist at the end of the game, the reveal, like some of the things that happen over the course of this game really are a huge payoff. And so I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, because Donkey spoiled the ending of this video within the first like minute or so of his review on this, and I like unsubscribed after being subscribed for like 10 years or whatever. I resubscribed since then, but like I was so fucking pissed, because that realization of some of the narrative's like secrets, so to speak, is part of what made the game initially so fucking amazing. And so I'm going to try to avoid spoilers. I would encourage you in chat to do so if you already know the ending. Like don't mention it specifically, just in case anybody stumbles across this. I want you to be able to experience it for yourself. That being said, I will, if you haven't played this game yourself and you think you might want to at all, I wouldn't blame you for just wanting to like not watch a series of streams to be able to experience it yourself. And I think, assuming that this game is comparable to the original, I feel like it's only like a 10 to 12 hour game. If you like Zelda even a tiny bit, you should probably just do yourself a favor and go play it and then come back. Shinigami, there are Mario quote-unquote characters in this game, like, sort of. There's a Piranha Plant reference that we just saw. We've got the Chain Chomps and stuff, so I won't say anything more, but there are characters that will feel familiar from other games in this game. That's a really interesting choice with that, like, low pulse. I love how they made this, like, really look like it's inside a tree. Ring, bring. Hello, it's me, Urira. Ask me anything about the island. If you get lost, give me a call. You know, there's a library in the village that might have some good information for you. Talk to you later. Click. This is great. So, like, from a game design standpoint, having a little quiet, passive hint system available for you is great. Oh, also, this seems like a small change, but this is huge. Like, shifting it to be, like, just having a slightly dynamic camera will probably actually have a really profound effect on visibility of certain things, so. Now, I will say, this is such a tiny thing, it really doesn't matter, but I think that there is a little bit of a storytelling difference in being able to see the enemy outside of the walls of the city, the Octorok. Because initially, in the original game, this felt like such a safe haven. It felt like, almost dreamlike, almost like removed from the main area. And it was like definitely, once you were in town, you were removed from the threats of the outside world. And now you can see them outside, and you can see like almost a perimeter defense in the form of that wall. So that's not a problem, but it definitely does make this space feel more integrated into the world around it, and it's a difference that is tangible for what it's worth. Shinigami says, honestly, the things I regret is that I couldn't be one with my inner nerd side. I wanted so many old games, new games, I saw playthroughs, and so much more. Wanting to play those games, but even with my PC, it doesn't feel the same not playing on a console. Well, you can get, you can play the old games on, like, if you have a Switch, you can play emulated versions of those games on the Switch, right? Hey, welcome. See something you like? Just bring it here. Again, a nice choice to kind of incorporate some retro elements, but they're still refreshed. I like all the details of the stuff in the background of the shop. So, the shovel itself is an item that is genuinely really useful. But what I remember from when I was a kid is that if you pick these things up and then you try to run out, right? Stay, you gotta put it back, but you can actually, if you're quick enough, you can run around him and walk out the door. But if you do that, your character will be branded a thief. The name of your character will change to thief in all caps, and then if you go back in there, that guy will just like shock you and kill you. So I'm not gonna do that for now, but it's cool that like I could immediately tell that you can still get away with that. I love the animations in the trees. Very, very pretty. Well, it seems that after you save, you will start at the last place you saved, unless it's a dungeon where you start at the entrance. I'm not really sure what it is because I'm just a kid. This seems familiar. So, you know, they could have easily changed that and modernized it. I kind of like that they kept it a little bit like fourth wall breaking. That's one of those things where I feel like there would have been a boardroom meeting being like, modern players won't like this, but you know, that feels true to itself. You don't have a Switch? That's a shame. I would recommend it. It's pretty good. A pretty good console. Does this stand for something? It says Pokey. Those are going to be amiibos or something, aren't they? I remember these guys. I will say, hearing the realistic-ish voices kind of matched up with the not-so-realistic characters, I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't really know what the solution is, but I'm thinking back to like Super Mario RPG on the SNES, and I think that they use like sound designed approximations of voices, or like they played off of Mario being a silent protagonist. I don't know if that would really work here. I have to go check that game out too. That'd be fun. With 4 boys who look alike, even I get confused sometimes. By the way, my baby wants a Yoshi doll. They have like a little icon for that. That's cute. Yeah, so Yoshi reference. I saw one at the trendy game, but I couldn't get it. Wow, they have so many kids. Or, well, hang on. They must be planning for it. They only seem to have one at the moment. Yeah. That's cute. I like the little details in the bed. Like, again, I don't know if it means anything, but one of the pillows is just like slightly askance, which is cool. Nice little kids' drawings on the wall. So like, in and of itself, just as a standalone game so far, it has like a lot of charm to it. I'll be lost in the hills later, so keep a lookout for me. Yeah, I remember that. Yep, those are my boys. I'm Papal. Pleased to meet you. We lost in the hills later. What? I only see one. Where are the other? Oh, the ones outside, of course. Doing great. Link checked out the dresser. Yep, everything checks out. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't bother me as much on Link. Like, I actually do like the feedback of like hearing him push and stuff like that. So it's cool. I'm gonna take a quick snack break, 1 sec. It's really, the soundtrack is really growing on me very quickly. Oh yeah, I gotta check. There's Chain Shop. I don't think I can do anything with him yet. I seem to remember him like lunging at me, but kind of wish they clipped the classic sound for that, but that's okay. Hello, I remember this character. Madam Meow Meow. Ho ho ho, my Bow Wow was so proud of his fine fur coat. Oh, that makes sense. So this one is called Chow Chow, but the other one is called Chow Chow, like the Italian for hello. And then she's called Meow Meow. Cute. Okay. Cool. Well, let's sortie and see what we can find. Oh yeah, here's the library. I remember those 2 little kids. Oh yes. A little bit is coming back to me now. Right, and you gotta get the... This is a bookshelf. What? You could see that? Okay. Yeah, I do enjoy the fourth wall breaks. I think I'm gonna skip this right now. But... Oh, that was good. That was great. Yeah, that was great. This book looks different though. Dark Secrets and Mysteries of Koholint. Do you want to read it? Yes. What's this? You can't read the tiny print without the aid of a magnifying lens, but where would you get one of those? Maybe if you lend some people a hand, they'll lend you a lens. I don't remember that, funny enough. That's cool. I imagine that they did try to put in some new stuff. So I'm curious to see what surprises there are. I hope they keep the color dungeon from the DX version. I heard that you can press that to look at the eye of the map. Oh, you can stick pins in it. Okay. So that's a great little modernization feature. I think especially for a Zelda game, that makes a lot of sense. Dude, I remember like pulling up the map like this when I was a kid and being like, "Oh my god, this world is so huge. How am I ever going to get through it all?" And now it's like, you know, we're so spoiled by things like Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring and stuff. But this is really charming. I love the way that the map is kind of sketched in so you get a sense of how things are going to be, but then it's like revealed gradually. You get like a little preview. Well, it's just very, very charming. I like that. Your item screen. This all looks great. Your favorite clothes that you washed ashore in. Show with your name on it. Name written on it. Hold it up with R. Okay, yeah. This is great. I should probably save. Though I think there is a... Yeah. Yeah, there is an autosave, so... Cool. Alright, let's keep going. I think you can knock these off the tree later. I forget. Tail Cave. Torumbo Shores. Interesting. Okay. I'm surprised that they went that way with the post-death flash, if that makes sense. I thought you could like flip these guys over. Oh, I'm thinking of the spikes, I think. Well, they actually extend pretty far. So that's an interesting whatchamacallit, implication for gameplay, is that I'm pretty sure that in the original, the transitions between screens weren't this seamless, so you could like escape from enemies by just running off screen. And clearly, that's not going to be a thing here the same way. Oh, shit. Oh, that violin, so beautiful. Yeah, this is the Tail Cave. I mean, this felt like such a far distance as a kid. Like, oh man, I made it all the way over to the Tail Cave. And key, obviously. I really like that little shield. It's interesting. I feel like they could have... Oh, sorry, the little shield sound effect there. I feel like they could have gone a much, like, more cartoony direction with that sound, and they decided to go more realistic, and part of me wants to, like, feels like it sort of clashes with the visuals a little bit, but it's also, I don't know, it's just, it feels good, it feels right somehow. Oh, that's right, yeah, we can shove these little things. Oh, that's so cute. They're so expressive. Beware the sea urchins, don't touch them with your bare hands. So they didn't necessarily make the game any easier. Okay, here we go. Sword, get up, please. Oh, right, the bird. I do kind of miss the old sound, but that's okay. That was a great, perfect mix between old and new with that little fanfare there. Swing it between B, okay. Oh, and yeah, it makes sense now that they retain the 4 directions like that. Or the 8 directions, sorry. Like the directional snapping. Actually, I think the original just had 4, so the fact that it expanded to 8 even is pretty great. Now, I remember that when you hit something, it would make a different sound based on whether you were hitting a breakable surface or not. See if that's still a thing. Oh, right, you have to like hold the button down and then poke. See, does it? It does. I think the sound in the original was more clearer, rather. So that's a little disappointing, but that's okay. It's still different, that's what counts. That's pretty good. I remember that fucking monkey, yeah. cool, cool. Yeah, it feels very, very comfortable being back in this game world. If that makes any sense. Very cozy. And I really love this rendition of... This might be like my favorite rendition of the Zelda, like the main theme, the overworld theme, whatever you want to call it. Our first rupee. I will say, like, I do think it felt a little bit more, how can I express this? Again, something about the pinch, the punch, the high frequency content of the original synthesizer just gave things a bit of a more dramatic or adventurous flair. I know that might sound weird, but I think because this isn't like a full orchestra, it's more like a chamber group. It's great. It's really well performed and everything, but it just feels a little bit more restrained. And I feel like for certain things you definitely want the hype, you want the energy, and weirdly, I think like the older version of the soundtrack, even though it was like more primitive, I guess you could say, it somehow lent itself more to making it easier for your brain to just fill in the gaps, and it felt more grandiose than it actually was. But now that we have it in high definition, it's not matching up to like what my brain did, if that makes sense. I don't know if that made any sense at all. Hi friend, I remember you. Welcome to Sale's House of Bananas. I'm Sale and this is my house. Actually, my hobby is collecting rare and unusual canned food. My brother's an artist, so I get strange hobbies run in the family. Cool. Got a nice little exposition there. I will say, I think his design fits quite nicely. And now that I'm kind of warming up to it, I do feel like there's a transition, or there's like I'm starting to feel more natural about the artistic difference. It's like, it's more jarring when you like are first approaching it, but now it's like, okay, this is just kind of how this world is. And I wonder if eventually, like towards the end of it, I will find myself doing the same sort of suspension of disbelief that I did for the original. Not a huge fan of the... Oh, Guardian Acorn will reduce the damage you take by half. Nice. Oh, right. Yeah, so ironically, like, that sound incorporates a more obvious, like, retro element to it in the sound, but it feels more jokey and gamey. Like, it's just, like, layering on this additional layer of... Oh, this music, that's right. We weren't hearing the town music before. This is the town theme. I wonder if that was a bug or if that was intentional. Oh, wow, that's really pretty. God, I'm so conflicted because the cello and the violin are so lovely, but then there's the very harsh, grating, like, bell sound. It's so jarring. Hey, friend. That's better. Yeah, I feel like you should really commit to one or the other. I love the soundtrack so much. Grandma Yahoo, nice. Oh hey, how you doing, buddy? Oh, this is the dude on the phone, right? Or how to say? Please call. I'll say that's right. He's like, he's kind of shy. You have to talk to him on the phone. There's a lot of like cute little character moments that emerge very nicely and naturally from this game. Oh, and on second thought, those footsteps are very harsh. The footstep sounds, I mean. The little pig grunts make sense, but they're a little weird too for some reason. Is this the game that you collect secret seashells in, or is that the that might be one of the? Oh no, here we go. Yep. Yeah, those little beeps and ticks, I guess, are very abrasive, and they kind of contrast with the not in a good way, in my opinion, with some of the other elements of the soundscape. But they do cut through the mix. You know, you can't really argue that they're masked by anything else. Well, that's very effective. I guess it, like, from a utility standpoint, it's very effective, but from a, like, aesthetic standpoint, I kind of object to it, but that's okay. So, interesting. So in the original game, if you moved out of a given screen and then back onto that screen, things in the previous screen would reset. So that's interesting. Okay, so they're not doing it wholesale, right? You don't have to leave the entire square here, but if you move far enough away, it'll like replenish things bit by bit. Is that right? Let's see. Maybe I didn't get far enough away. Oh no, it did the whole thing. So that's something that, like, with modern tech and not being as things feeling, I don't know, more smooth, the suspension of disbelief for me is harder on why these plants grow back. I think they probably couldn't mess with that too much, because if they didn't reset things when you're a certain distance away, that would probably have pretty enormous implications for other things in the game. But still, that does feel weird. That's a little bit uncanny. Anyway, let's talk to Marin, is it? Yeah. Karen went to the forest to look for toadstools, but I'd rather sing. Listen to this. It's called The Ballad of the Windfish. Just got a little nostalgia rush there. That was really pretty. Yeah, that was great. The way they fade in and out, the music from the background, that's really, really cool. I think what they're doing there, I have to, not entirely sure, but I think what they're doing there is that they're using, like, either a vocal synthesizer, or they have clips of a human voice, but then they're like pitch shifting them up, like kind of like GLaDOS's voice in Portal, if you know what I'm talking about. They're doing a little bit of modulation there, so it sounds like a mix between like an actual human voice, but something that, oh, sorry friend, that's also like modulated, which gives it that like slightly video gamey feel, which I think makes really good sense. Yeah, I really like that approach. I think it was a very smart sound design choice. How about some fishing? Hold A to release it. Sorry, hold A and release it to cast your line out. The longer you hold it, the farther you cast. You're tugging your line by moving L. Want to reel it in to hurry, keep tapping A real quick. Okay, let's try it out. If I remember correctly, there's like a piece of heart in here or something. Oh, this is so cool. So they are making really interesting choices with the sources for instrumentation, in that, like, they're it sounds like that metallic element in the background is like a handpan, and I'm pretty sure they were using a like a toy piano for part of the village theme. Very, very interesting. Very creative decisions. I kind of don't want... Yeah, I think I see the object down there, so I gotta let it sink. I think it's like right there on the bottom. But it might be you have to like catch all the fish. I forget. I think it's right there, right? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, sure. Let's try again. don't really want to wait for it to fall all the way to the bottom again. Okay, I guess I'll just catch this thing. I don't know if there's much of a strategy to this. I forget. When it pulls away, you just kind of gotta let it go. Getting a little closer, I guess. Yeah, it's taking a while, but it's getting there. Almost. There we go. What a devious shit-eating grin. Fish like that's worth, let's see here, 13 rupees. Something caught in this fish's mouth? Oh, I did get a piece of heart, okay. Yeah, I don't want to spend all night fishing, but I'm really curious about what else is down there. I still see it, so let me try one more time. I have a feeling it's one of those things where it's like, it's gonna keep breaking over and over again until you like spend a certain amount of rupees. But maybe I was just too fast last time. We'll see. Oh my god, this is gonna be agonizing. I kind of love it when Zelda games do things like this, though. I know a lot of people are probably gonna disagree with this take, but one of my favorite moments of Wind Waker was when Beetle fucking, like, when you get the thank you from him. It's so fucking charming. Although I hear the one for getting all the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild is, like, that ratcheted up to 11. Isn't it just like a golden piece of poo that you get? Taking it slow. Looks like we might actually be able to make it without breaking it if we just take it slow. Honestly, like, I don't really support fishing, especially recreational fishing, but I will say that I did go fishing with my family when I was younger, and this kinda, ironically, is one of the fishing minigames that feels like it reminds me the most of what it was like to actually fish. I played a lot of Sega bass fishing and Sega marine fishing on the Dreamcast, and it doesn't feel like fishing, like, basically at all. It's very arcadey, very fast-paced. I mean, it feels weird to say that, like, having a... No, you son of a bitch! Okay, I'm leaving for now. It better be in the same spot when I get back. But yeah, like, something about that kind of slow, calm, waiting, just vibing, chilling out, and then having that being punctuated by, like, this gradual fight with the fish. You can't take it too fast, but you can't be too slow either. Did they change up the Owl's theme? Well, maybe not. Fish now. Fire begun to visit the tail cage. Go through the key you find in the forest when you're just watching Hoot. I remember really loving this song when I was a kid, so let's see. Ah, no. Combat feels really good. Yeah, I think it's that, like, the sorts of instruments that were being emulated by the old hardware didn't feel as, like, charming and calm and warm as these actual, like, instruments do, and so it's not giving me that same sense of intensity that I remember feeling, which is a shame. I do feel like something is lost. Something else is gained. It's not like there's a problem with it, or that, like, it's flawed or it's a bad performance, so I don't really have a criticism of it. It's just, like, the feeling and the vibe is very different, which is, like, I mean, yeah, the original Zelda or Link's Awakening must have come out like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something, right? It was a long fucking time ago. So not surprising that like a game multiple decades later with different aesthetics would feel very, very different. Ooh, I don't like I don't like her as much. Feels a little bit too human. Something about the fairy in the original game felt a little bit more magical. You know what? I think honestly, when we were talking about the camera transitions in Titanfall 2 versus Titanfall 1, I feel like this is another example of that, where transitioning from the lower screen to the upper screen and having the fairy, like, how to explain this? The fact that the screen, that the panel or whatever, the board that the fairy was in was completely separate from the one below it, even though they were physically connected, right? The fact that you had to go up and then there was a screen transition made the fairy seem as though she was, like, in her own special, like, sacred grove, if that makes sense. Whereas here, she's just, like, kind of there, so it's weird. Still got plenty of pep. Come see me when you feel like you can't go on. 1 sec, I'm gonna open this healthy beverage here. I also do kind of, I don't love the grunting noise as well. I mean, like, it's kind of cute, but it's also like a little too realistic almost. I don't know, something about it feels weird. I feel like I don't think they could have really gotten away with not giving them some kind of voice though. But it just feels so stock, you know? Let me just stop and appreciate the nature ambience though. Yeah, I guess that instrument that's playing right now, it just never really felt like a violin to me. It's a really weird choice. But maybe it did to the original sound designers or whatnot. There we go. There's a full screen transition. So I wonder if they're just going to keep that as like a default in dungeons and shit. That'd be kind of cool. I don't think I have... Can I actually? They did a pretty good job with the background music here. Nice. Nice cave reverb. I think that in the original there really wasn't any... there was hardly any, if any, allocation of resources to like background ambient sounds. I think I can't pick these up yet, right? Yep, okay. I remember solving that puzzle as a kid, was like, felt like a genius, and I'm just like, oh yeah. Don't remember this. Oh, is this for the magic powder or whatever? Yeah. Cool. I mean, this is just like we were talking to Saria about remakes versus the originals, and I will say this, like, playing this now feels very different from playing the game that I remember playing previously. But also, I think it's like, well, you're gonna find it very, very difficult to get a zoomer, I think, to play like on an old black and white handheld Game Boy to play this shit, right? Maybe it would be more the color version, I think, is the definitive version anyway, but like, you know, even that is kind of a big ask. On an emulator maybe, but even then it's like, for somebody with no other like interest in retro games, it's a lot to ask. And so this game will factually introduce you know, new players to this title. And I think that's great, because I want more people to be able to enjoy this. It's just like, I'm kind of like going back and like thinking about that conversation and realizing that, how do I even explain this? It's like, I don't even think it's necessarily possible to achieve that old feeling, right? It's just like, because it wasn't just the game, it was also where I was in my life at the time, my sensibilities, like, just, maybe it's not even really possible to recapture that. Oh, right, I forgot about that. I don't think I can actually do anything here yet. That's great. Oh yeah, I can make a potion with the brew, right? Or with the mushroom, I think. This is an instance where I think the new music choice actually works very well. And her design still has a bit of that, like, old school uncanniness. Oh, right, I think I gotta light the torch at some point, right? Remember that correctly? Hello. It has the sleepy toadstool, it does. We'll mix it up something in a jiffy, we will. Thank you kindly. That was great. Take care, there's just not much there. Why not try a bit of my hat? That's right, and I can light the fire now. Open the subscreen with plus and set it to either X or Y. Okay. It's gonna be on X. Oof. When I go to the forest, pick some toadstools and I'll make you more. Come back without a toadstool and you may have to pay a price for my leftovers. Oh, okay, that's a nice little quality of life. Sorry. Got distracted. Nice little quality of life improvement. I think in the original, you just like had to go and farm for more. I don't think you could purchase any. So that's cool. Leave me alone. What was that sound? Okay. I think that was the original design of the Zoras, if I remember correctly. Shinigami says, been doing some Nier vs. Shikamaru research a while back, and there was a point I was legit thinking about. Okay, yeah, feel free to share if you like. I don't remember there being this, the shield mechanic being quite like this, in that I think that, feels to me like they're doing something with like a shield parry riposte thing, like you have to let the enemy attack you with your shield up before you can attack them. I don't remember if that was a thing in the original, but it's cool. It's a very, very simple little mechanic, nice little addition, but it makes sense. I think I remember this guy. I remember this tree in particular for some reason, with the like being surrounded by little grass patches or whatnot. As a raccoon, my nose is very sensitive to stuff like dust and powder. Okay, so... Whoosh. The last thing I can remember was biting into a big juicy toadstool, then I had the darndest dream it was a raccoon. Yeah, sounds strange, but it sure was fun. You're weird. I'm all tuckered out. I think I better sit a spell before I head home. Okay. Alright. That makes about as much sense to me today as it did then. But that's pretty cute. Shinigami says, it's how Nier operates. How he tends to work is that he tries to gather data as much as possible, but then he only acts upon it afterwards. This is what Light exploited. He knew Nier wouldn't act upon his intuitions in the same way L would, such as how L figured out the 13-day rule is fake, whereas Nier couldn't consider the possibility of a fake notebook, something Mello did, who has a high willingness to act. You could say Nier is just as inexperienced, but it's a narrative function. Nier represents L's logic, Mello is L's... ... Oh, we got the key. Nice. I will say, as nice as it is to have the background ambience, those birds are going fucking crazy in the background. Take the key and go to the tail cave. Oh, sorry, the windfish is waiting. Yeah, I think we'll play tonight through the end of the first dungeon. Maybe a little more, but that seems like a good stopping point. It'll still be a little ways away. Gopunga Swamp, Mysterious Forest. I know I can't, like, go up there until we have the Rock's Feather. That was actually a great sound. Did a good job of capturing the original very nicely, I think. I will say I wish the camera, like, we could manually change the camera panning just to bring it up a little bit more, feel a little occluded by these trees. But I guess they probably didn't want to complicate it over much. We were speaking. There's a library in the village. Yes, thank you. I'm aware of this. Shinigami says willingness to act. When Nier figured out the 13-day rule is fake, it's only after Mello straight up told him one of the rules is fake in the Sekira story, even though Nier reduced the whole case. Oh, that's right, we gotta get Bow Wow to help. I forgot about that. But yeah, I can't. I forget if I thought for some reason... Oh, that's right, so Bow Wow was gonna eat those flowers. Because otherwise we can't pass through here. I will say, like, the damage/hit feedback isn't as strong as maybe I would love it to be, but that's okay. He didn't act upon solving it because he viewed Kira as a pale imitation of the original Kira. He recognizes light as evil, and he hates somebody who recognizes light had a goal and is a genius. Okay, yeah, that makes some sense. The soundtrack is still, like, super fucking charming. It's just, I don't know, there's something about the way that solo cello is mixed that just... I know, I grew up playing cello as well. In fact, I would, like, mess around. When I was supposed to be playing songs for my cello lessons or whatever, I would play Zelda songs or Halo songs or whatever else. And yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, that just... It feels less mysterious because it's not just a fucking cello now. It's no longer like a weird ethereal tone. But this, on the other hand, this is great. Yeah, I feel like they should have leaned more into using synth and odd instrumentation, because this works very well. And like the addition of the like the reverb and the delay is great. Yeah, this is all great. I forget if there's a thing down there that I was supposed to, like a wall that you can bomb. I guess it doesn't matter because I don't have any bombs. Okay. So on to the tail cave. Honestly, do kind of miss the screen transitions, as weird as that might sound. But again, these are like very minor nitpicks. Overall, I think they've preserved the overall feel. They've just sort of modernized it. It's one of those things where it's like looking at it. Oh, it's up there. From afar, it looks so distinct from the original that it feels like, you know, like, imposter, this is not my Zelda or whatever. But then when you actually start playing it, like, everything just clicks, everything feels the way it used to. So it really comes down to like the pacing, the flow, the controls, you know. And for reasons that I won't quite get into just yet, I think the aesthetic actually fits the narrative quite nicely in a kind of a subtle way. Shinigami says, so he let it be and let the task force handle it. In the A. Kira story, he's more interested in meeting A. Kira rather than arresting him, thinking A. Kira's plan to sell a death note isn't a crime. Okay. Seems like you're on the right track there. He even points out how we send nuclear weapons internationally. Okay. Right, here we go. First official dungeon. If I remember correctly, That was nice. That was a nice little sound design choice there. So the question is if Nier would be motivated to be in a mind battle against Shikamaru. Ah, that's a good point. Involving characters' motivations is obviously very important. Interesting. Okay, so in the original, I remember getting a map being such an important thing. I think I might be confusing it because this seems weird to me that the map is autofilling. I feel like don't you have to like wait to get a map? But I might be thinking of Ocarina. What am I doing wrong? Pressing the wrong buttons like a doofus. Nice. Nice little camera zoom in to get the key. It's cute. Open a locked door. Yeah, I think you're on the right track with your thinking there. I think the idea of wondering about like what a character's motivations would be obviously makes a whole lot of sense. We've got the compass. Wait, what did it say? This compass has a new feature. Oh, right. It'll make a sound when you, Oh, that's right. You can put the pins on the map and stuff. I think that's a great new addition. But yeah, anyway, I think it's definitely great to be thinking about that. Like, something that doesn't get brought up enough in, like, versus battles. I know this is not exactly a versus battle. Something that doesn't get brought enough in that is actually exploring character motivations and stuff. Because it's more about who would win if they did have a, fight, as opposed to, like, would they even fight in the first place? I like that they made the sound feel a little bit more like radar, almost. There's like a little, I don't know, it's standing out a little bit more. Ooh, the Switch design is so weird. I didn't even recognize that as a Switch initially. Everything's how I remember it, though, for the most part. Even if Nier is cognitively... Oh, you had to help your girlfriend with making tea. She's having stomach aches. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope she feels better. Even if Nier is cognitively comparable to L, his motivation is such a thing. The only reason he tried as hard as light is because he hates... I like the skeletons. Somehow their jumping feels a little bit less pronounced or something. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, I feel like this could be... Oh no, so we do actually get a map. Oh, I see, and then it fills in as you go. Okay, this is feeling more familiar now. I feel like this could be a good gateway for new players of a new generation to get into Zelda, because if you've never played a Zelda before, something like Breath of the Wild might be kind of intimidating and overwhelming to some players. I remember being overwhelmed by fucking Morrowind of all things, but this is like a little bit more bite-sized. Like, you can play for 20 minutes to half an hour, or longer, but you can like play in smaller chunks and still make good progress, you know? And it feels like overall things are like decently compartmentalized, and I don't know, it feels like, oh right, we gotta come back here with bombs later. Feels like it makes sense as somebody's first foray into the Zelda universe. Shit. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the microphone there. Remember these little shits. I'm pretty sure that they would pop up, though. Like, they weren't revealed at first, so that seems to be something that's changed. The beakless statue saying something, you can't make it out. That's right, you gotta give it a beak to... It's pretty cool. For that one. Oh. I wasn't expecting that soundtrack swell there. That's cool. Cute. Oh yeah, here's some more for ya, Shinigami. You might recognize these guys. Yeah, nice incorporation of retro elements in the soundtrack here. This is good too. Pleasantly surprised so far. I only have a feeling Nier would be decently motivated against Shikamaru as an intellectual match. There's only one other angle of Nier, but it's 50% since there's no confirmation of it being canon. I really... Ugh, I hate that. I hate that it has a little 3 on it. I don't remember if that was in the original. I don't like putting meta, like, elements like that in the world. Ugh, gross. That's just my own personal preference. Oh, ah, fucking... No, 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 please, I don't want to die. Rock's feather feels like your body is a lot lighter. Sweet. Wait, okay, so... I do have to actually equip it though, right? Yes. Shit. Okay, that makes sense though, that'll be right there. That's smart placement, smart placement. Cool, cool. It feels good. Hey there, Loha, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, it's good to see you. Loha says, what do you think of how you're encouraged to spam sword attacks instead of timing it? The skeletons brought that thought to my mind, but it's kind of how Zelda always is. Yeah, I think that's a totally fair point. Oh wow, it's so weird that they retained that, like, the initial part of the jump is so slow, it's got so much inertia, it feels really, like, sticky. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, I think, certainly back in the Game Boy days, like, there wasn't all that much strategy, I guess, to certain things. I mean, there was puzzle solving. I'm not expressing myself very well, but like, yeah, a lot of enemies could just be kind of defeated without having to think about stuff like stamina, right? Which is just like more of a modern invention. And usually it was just sort of like waiting for the boss to be weak temporarily, or creating a very discrete and very noticeable weak point and then exploiting it. Oh, I could have just jumped over there. Silly. Like, so I'm thinking of like one, god damn it, one good example of that being like Goma, right? The spider boss from the beginning of Ocarina of Time. Like, that particular boss was very much, like, you basically just create an opening for it to have its weak point exposed, and then you kind of just like wail on it, right? Morpha from the water temple, you have to pull it out with a hook shot, avoid its attacks, and then as soon as it's exposed, just wail on it. There are some exceptions, obviously, like fucking what's his name? Like Dark Link as a good example. Phantom Ganon is a pretty good example as something that's quite a bit different. But a good amount of enemies, I think, are just like wait for your opening and then kind of spam sword attacks. And I think it feels kind of outdated to our modern generation because things are so, like, frankly, I know I'm like a Dark Souls glazer, but like I think it's true. Frankly, in a post-Dark Souls world, it feels weird for, unless you're doing something like fucking Bayonetta, like you're making a game like that, it feels kind of weird to not have more, to just have like such a spammable attack that doesn't combo or do anything like that, you know what I mean? But I think it's probably fine if you consider that, like, as long as the game does something to try to like incentivize you to not just spam. Like there, if I had just spammed my sword, right, like I would have died, or I would have gotten myself into trouble. I think the game is defining some very discrete, like basically your shield, you know, you're not going to parry with your shield, you're not going to do a shield bash, maybe with the, I forget if you could do something like that with the Pegasus boots later, but at any rate, like, your shield does one thing for the most part. You point it in a direction and then you block. Your sword does one thing. You point it in a direction, you attack. Technically, it does two things because it does a spin attack, right? And technically, it does three things because you can, like, use it to check walls. But for the most part, the way that you engage with everything is pretty discreet and direct. You're not going to be double jumping. You're not going to be jumping into a ground pound or whatever, right? Like, each thing does one thing at a time is a good way to put it, which is different from modern games. And I think that it might feel like a little stale, a little outdated. Maybe it's more of its time. But yeah, it's just sort of a simpler approach, I guess. The nightmare key. Now you can open the door to the nightmare's lair. So let's see. Going through the dungeon at a pretty good clip, actually. Right, this one we need the bomb for. That seems aligned with what I remember. So now time to go back down here and up there. Pretty short dungeon. There's also the thing that, like, I think, especially going back like 20 years or whatever, and also just like having a more, whatchamacallit, not impressionable, but like, I feel like as a kid, your suspension of disbelief probably comes easier, you're less cynical and stuff like that, so I think, for me anyway, just at the time, I just accepted that, okay, well, this is the way this game works. There was no, like, concept of this being limited or bad game design, it just was what it was. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Definitely use a heart, please and thank you. I remember those things always looking so fucking weird in the original. Doesn't feel quite as uncanny. Right, I like that, the little built-in hint system. Turn aside spine was with shield, yep. Keep mixing up the jump and attack buttons. I'm probably gonna die to this thing. Oh my god, it's terrifying. Ah! Yep. This soundtrack is working better for me. This this song, the synth choices and stuff. Is that it, really? I remember it being so much longer. Is that just a fairy's head? Okay, okay, good. I thought it was like a decapitated fairy for a second there. It was creepy. Ah, shit. That's close. Oh god, they have like skeletons hanging from the ceiling. I remember that. But it looks like that might be like a bonus area or something, because there's a ledge up there. Come back here later. I wonder if you can jump on their heads. Yeah, I don't remember this at all. Sorry, Shinigami says, the character Matsuda post part 2 of Death Note. After Light dies, Matsuda theorizes that Nier wrote Mikami's name on the Death Note, then read the evidence. Matsuda argues the lack of proof is the proof, but in total he anticipated Light's whole endgame. That he manipulated Mello to do his final plan to make Mikami reveal the real Death Note. Then he wrote his name so he doesn't have to check if the Death Note is real, but it's 50% chance it's canon. Okay, why, I'm curious, why is it not considered canon? Like, I figured, it's weird to hear something described as being, like, having a chance of being canon. Could you elaborate on that? Buzz Buzz Outsider. It's healthy to hang your skeleton out now and then. I won't dispute that. Damn, am I really already at 1 heart? I forgot how to play this game. Really? I think I'm also, I gotta make sure not to get my fucking inputs mixed up. I could technically try to hit them there. Ah, damn it. So much for the zero death run. Oh, it's a theory, I see. That was perfect. That sound design was really, really good. To a bad start. Great. Fucking so stupid. Alright, let's see if I can do a little bit better this time. Not really. Not doing very well at all. It's weird. I can play Elden Ring basically with my eyes closed at this point. but for some reason on stream the past couple of times, like I've been playing super easy games and just fucking being fucking god awful at them. I don't understand what happened to my brain. Let's try this again. There we go. I guess I'm supposed to maybe use the fucking item that I got and try to jump over it as opposed to doing the dumb shit I was doing. It's not working either. Damn it. There we go. Hard to read its movements, which I remember being the case. Oh, okay. There we go. Probably skip ahead if you use charge attacks. That makes sense. Yeah, I probably could have tried to do that, or just not have failed in the first place. Matsuda is by no means an idiot. There is evidence to support it, just as much as to say there isn't, just like how you can go, well, how would Nier make sure Mikami wouldn't check the notebook? Okay, I think that makes sense, yeah. Also go, but Nier clearly doesn't have the heart to manipulate metal. That could be the case. That'd be even hard to do, huh? Well, I'm sure it'll feel more natural once I've spent more time with the game. Ooh, beautiful. This balance of old and new sound is working very nicely for me. Ooh, very cool with the reverb there. I think it was a very nice choice to make that sound a little bit more MIDI. Swamp. A path opens in the bloom. That felt very nice, actually. Very, very comfortable. It's kind of a testament to the strength of the game design that it still posed a challenge for me, even though I played this like 20 times 20 years ago. That is an instrument of the sirens. I have to admit, at first I did not believe you were real. That instrument, along with the 7 others in the set, has the power to wake the windfish. You must collect them all. I was instructed to give you directions. Your next goal is north in Koponga Swamp. Hoot indeed. So, I'll muck around for a couple more minutes, because it's been a relatively short stream. But yeah, we'll probably wrap up relatively soon. I think I'll keep playing this. Feels like a very nice, comfy Thursday night game to play. We've also got... I do want to do a stream covering Dark Souls 2 music, and I do want to do the Deracines stream sometime soon too. Just keep being too lazy to actually pull out my fucking hardware and get it all set up properly. Oh shit, hi kids. Hey buddy, it's serious, yeah, really serious. Oh god, I really disagree with that choice of the horn there. But I do like the way that they're shaking the UI element. Loa says, not letting mortals / principles get in the way is probably smarter than being stubborn. Are you referring to the Nier versus L versus Shikamaru thing? I always think of the idea that there's something in fiction that has a possibility to be canon. That makes sense to me, yeah. That seems compelling. And it's for real, they all went to the house. Yeah, that house, and then they did something at Bow Wow's house. It was a really bad scene with the moblins. Might be faster to find out for yourself, yeah. Yeah, very disagree with this audio choice, but that's okay, not the end of the world. The Bow Wow is dogged out by some moblins. Okay, yes, I will go help. Wow, I wasn't ready for that scream. Maybe I didn't hear it the first time because I was talking over it. Okay. So he's like back up in the forest, if I remember correctly, right? Damn it. Like the waste there. That makes sense because the swamp is up here too, so it's a nice way of kind of like creating a segue or transition into the next area. That makes sense. Oh right, I can do this. I do really genuinely like the Metroid Zeldvania gear gating is what they call it, like being unable to progress into a new area until you have gotten the key to that area, but the key specifically is also an item that you benefit from the use of, right? So it's not just that you're you get this thing and it lets you jump, but it's not just letting you jump, is it? It's also specifically acting as a key to allow you to access areas that were otherwise locked to you. It's not just a tactical thing, it's also an environmental thing, right? They don't just have to hide everything behind a fucking, like, literal physical key. They can use different forms of keys is what I'm trying to say. Wait, what did it say? Heard. You don't stick to myself, me and my letters, my name's right. The only thing I don't like about my hobbies is that I never receive a response. Cool, cool. I don't even remember if I'm going the right way, but we'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. Probably too many pieces of power being dropped, but I think that was true of the original as well. Remember to actually press the right button every once in a while, that would help. I forget if you have to get a wallet to like upgrade your carry capacity in this game. I don't think so, but we'll find out soon. I remember as a kid like going through each one of these areas and just like obsessively poking every single fucking wall I could find. Nice, I like that sound a lot. Yeah, I need the bracelet or whatever. I might... Aw, damn it, did it eat my fucking shield? I never understood that mechanic. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. Must just be an ocarina. Yeah, I will say... Oh, no, that like made me lose my train of thought. Oh, I wish I could remap the buttons a little bit more. I really want the Y button to be my attack button. For some reason, that feels much more like an action than a jump. Or like an attack than a jump, I guess. Hello, little owl. Music, the fish stirs in the egg. You are there. I'm gonna listen to music for a second. I would play this on my cello. It's great. It's great. And the harmonies. Something about the way that they orchestrated that felt really, really good. That was a great reincorporation of that theme. It felt like appropriately grandiose, if that makes sense. Okay, now we gotta figure out what this fucking dog is. Let's see. Shinigami says, I do want to see your thoughts on Sage's video scaling Naruto intelligence. Honestly tells me he scales intelligence like a power scaler. Is this a video that he did recently, or is it something from a while ago? But yeah, I could check it out for sure. I wasn't really sure what to talk about this weekend, so I could take a look at that. I should probably give Sage a break at some point, though. I keep fucking, like, going after his stuff. But, I mean, like, my feeling on this whole thing changes from day to day. Like, sometimes I wake up, or sometimes I, like, not wake up, but I think of, you know, the Naruto discussions and whatnot, and I'm like, is it really worth, like, going after this shit? Like, I spend so much time being like, here, there's this content creator, and he said or did something that I didn't really like, and so now I'm gonna talk about their 20-minute video for 20 hours, and sometimes I do wonder if I'm not fishing for compliments or anything, I just, like, wonder if, like, that's a good use of my time. And then sometimes I wake up and I've got, like, a much more fiery disposition. I'm like, fuck, like, as long as there's misinformation out there in the world, I have to fix it, which is a little arrogant, but you know what I mean. It's like, the wind, fish, and name only, for it is neither. But yeah, so, like, I don't know, I have to figure out, like, where my own, limits lie with that sort of thing. But I'm interested in the topic, for sure. It feels like maybe a little bit of the furor around, the discussion of the Genjutsu working cross-verse has died down a little bit. And what's really weird about that discussion is that, oh my god, that thing's creepy, I love it. It feels to me like... So I listened to Sage's video, obviously, on Genjutsu working cross-verse, and then I listened to a bunch of other stuff, like Abstract's video, which was good, which was great, actually. And then what else? There was I'm blanking on it now, but I listened to some people responding to Sage's video and to Six's video, or like Six's response as well. Who's that suspicious looking runt? Okay, boys, let's get rid of him. Oh, this is where the Bow Wow is, right? And I'm like, the Genjutsu crossverse thing is really weird because I, like, simultaneously agree and disagree with everyone at the same time. It's, like, kind of paradoxical, but I think everybody on the subject seems to be making some really good points and some really, let's just say, points that I really strongly disagree with, and so it's like a weird, confusing middle ground topic where it's like everything makes sense and nothing makes sense. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's just like, yeah, it's such a polarizing topic. You must be assassin sent by Madame Yamya to rescue the mutt. Came here to get me, but it is I who will get you. Burn. Right, gotta wait until he charges. Oh, do I have to get him to, like, charge into a wall? I forget. Yeah. This kind of goes back to what you were saying, Loha, before, or we were talking about with, like, the enemy design being very, like, you know, create openings, spam sword. I guess it is kind of, like, inherently satisfying to go up to have this buildup of oh shit, this buildup, fuck me, this buildup of tension where you're like, I gotta wait, okay, now, right, like, you're building up the intention of, the anticipation, building up the anticipation, and being like, yes, okay, I'm gonna wait for my chance, okay, yeah, there we go, now strike, now unleash all of the anticipation that you've been waiting for, you know, that's cool. That's a cool, like, cadence to the fight. I gotta stick closer to the wall, I think. Oh, right, he's only gonna go that one direction. Okay, so if I keep him down here, that might work out better. Yeah. Okay. This way he has, like, less distance to travel, so he's more likely to get stuck in the corner. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I do feel a little bit bad for just fucking murdering him, but he did steal a dog, so he can also get fucked. Good jump to get it. There we go. Hello, little chompster. A fearsome beast. He's not fearsome, he's adorable. Right, and so now I can use him to get into the next area. Although I do have some exploration I could do. I forget if you can go directly there or if you have to return him home first. I feel like you have the ability to like take him for a walk later if you want to, but maybe we'll just get right to it. I'm just gonna take a little snack break, like 10 seconds. Okay, make it 27 seconds. One sec, I'll be right back. Is that fucking Dumpe? It is. I forgot about that. Or did they add him in newly? I honestly can't remember if he was in the original game. This definitely feels new. Oh, what a weird choice of soundtrack. It almost looks like he has a little kunai on the shelf over there to the right. I'll stay posted here while you take care of your other business. Just don't leave me waiting too long, okay? Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure that the Chomp will attack enemies for you while you have him hitched up, so to speak. Well, you have him, like, attached to you, rather. Which, come to think of it, is kind of the opposite of hitched up, so never mind. I also should have enough money to get a shovel pretty soon, too, without stealing it, too. Oh yeah, he'll go after the birds, right? And there is the witch's hut. These trees have retained a lot of their original charm. I remember there being something special you had to do in the cemetery, but I can't remember what. Like the secret behind one of the tombstones or something. Another one of those things that felt like more mysterious and scary as a kid, I think. These things do still look pretty creepy. The hit detection on them is weird, though. I remember them being pretty hard to kill. Oh shit, okay. I don't remember them being that hard to kill. Okay, that works. Oh, interesting. I don't remember that at all, but that's totally fine. Oh, I like the design of those guys. That's cool. Looking forward to checking those guys out. You must have both remarkable power and courage enough to face this trial alone. We will not open for cowards. Okay. So I guess they're calling me a coward because I have a companion there with me. Or maybe it's not opening until I have the extra item. Oh, there we go. Oh, right, I need the shovel anyway to be able to dig there. Okay, I'll come back here later. Let's deal with this guy. Wow, they are really hardy. I do love that design, like the sort of cyclopean aesthetic. What else to call it? Just like the single eye there is really creepy and I love it. Reminds me of the umbrella, like yokai inspired monsters from Super Mario 2. Oh god, that guy's a little devious little fucker, isn't he? Look at that thing. I remember there being some sort of a mole creature in the original. I don't remember him looking that that fucked up though. I love it. Oh god, I love that little guy. This is the best guy in the game so far. Okay. If I remember correctly, we gotta take this motherfucker back to his mom. And then we'll be able to go to the swamp. But we might actually just be able to cut there now. Let's see. Alright, it's on the other side. Yeah. Oh, I love that chomp sound effect. I mean, it's a very like very highly used like library like stock sound effect, but it's perfect for this environment, for this character, for this aesthetic, for this like time period and everything. But yeah, Shinigami, I'll check out that top 6 smartest characters. Wolf Dig. Oh, right. But I don't have I have to try to remember that. I don't have... Wait, hang on a second. Aha! Modern quality of life thing. Pin. This will be my dig pin. Thanks, little guy. Okay, so he should eat the flowers, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there we go. I forget if he'll eat that one. Oh, he does, yeah. Sweet. Love this little dude. That's right, you gotta like jump after them. Okay, that's a nice evolution of that ability. You gonna jump in? Thank you. It's a sweet fucking time. Rupee. Okay, yeah, so we don't need a wallet, at least not now. I think the wallet was a later innovation anyway. Oh, go get it, please. I do kind of like that he has a personality. He doesn't just like immediately do what you want him to. And the way the fish are integrated, it feels really nice too. I think this is the second dungeon, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Oh, grotto, that's right. Okay, well, we're nearing the 2-hour mark. Let's see how far we can get. A little bit of work here. Now, that is one thing that I feel like a newer player... Well, no, I guess the game does teach you that pretty discreetly. Going to the witch and everything. I will, and the witch's hut is not too far away, so if you run out of material, that's fine, and then you have to... You'd have to, like, learn what the witch is telling you and then come back and get it. Okay, so initially I was going to be like, I don't know, that feels like one of the things that I might have asked my, like, friend for help on when I was a kid or something, because, like, if you show up and you're just like, I don't know, I didn't understand the whole witch's hut thing, and I forgot that or I missed that, I don't know what to do here, right? Like, if there's not a very discreet, like, help system of some kind in place, then that might wind up kind of stymieing you a little bit, especially if you're a younger player and you're not as familiar with the mechanics. I will also say that, like, I don't love puzzles being tied so, like, necessarily to such a limited resource. Like, this was a big problem in Majora's Mask, if I remember correctly too. Like, just you need to have an arrow to solve a puzzle, and or to like get to the next room, and if you don't have one, you basically like have to leave and either go all the way back to a shop, or you have to like grind for it and hope you get lucky. And I guess like I totally forgot how to deal with those fucking things. Oh, wait a minute, I think you can I do this? Damn it. Oh, that's cute. They incorporated some Super Mario on the SNES, Super Mario World, elements into the soundtrack. I have always hated and will continue to always hate that beeping noise that's supposed to be a reminder. Right, I remember these little fuckers. A reminder, a low health indicator. Sorry, I'm distracted. I really, really dislike that low health indicator shit. It's so annoying. Yeah, that's definitely from Super Mario World. It's like the cave theme or whatever. I love it when they do that. Just like incorporate classic elements from a previous game in that particular way. Oh yeah, I forgot. They do give you like a little charge to your supply there. Okay, maybe I was being too harsh, I think. It's still a little annoying, but it's fine. It, like, as long as they throw you a bone every once in a while, you know? Let's see. Remember how to do this. I don't think it can reach. Oh, it can reach. Okay. Cool. I don't remember how to deal with these guys. I think you have to throw pots at them. Yeah. Which obviously you can't do just yet. Thank God. Yeah, oddly, the dungeon music is feeling like a little bit more intense at times than I remember, and it never really felt all that intense. It just more felt like creepy, ominous, mysterious, something like that. I mean, like, I am always impressed at people who can, or like instances of artistry that like creates a legacy, if that makes sense. So like these sounds, the sound of getting a power-up, of unlocking something, of solving a puzzle, are just like so embedded in our like collective subconscious, I guess is one way to put it. But the reason why they're even to be found there, why they're so enduring in the first place, is of course because they're so compelling, right? Might as well get this on here. I remember this fucker. I don't remember how to beat him. Maybe I should have chosen hero mode. Thing is, I don't actually like, despite the fact that the Soul series is still my favorite, I don't actually like being unduly punished, especially these days. I'm much more chill the way that I approach games. So I don't want difficulty for difficulty's sake, but it still might be like a more definitive way to play this game, given that I'm not, you know, however old I was when I played this previously. I like the way that I never really knew what those things were when I played previously. I like the way that they've incorporated that. And also there's a lot of little details, like you can see that there's dust coming off of my footfalls, and that dust winds up getting sucked in by that vortex. Really, really nice detail. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't make the fire kind of bend in that direction as well. But, yeah, that's cool. Obviously a lot of love and care and craft that was put into the world design and stuff. This was a project that was very thoroughly loved as it was in development. I'm feeling quite positive about it overall. Oh yeah, here we got some more Mario enemies for you. I think this one you do actually, yeah, The light. I remember that, yeah. It's interesting. I wonder why they made the decision to bring in so many, like, Mario-related things. I don't think there's anything else here. Okay. There we go. There's a power bracelet. Nice. This felt so much more, Oh, that sound effect. That is like the library pot break sound effect. Oh my god. I kind of can't believe that they actually went with that. I will say, I like the fact that, like, if I remember correctly in the original game, like, your shield took up a button slot, and you had to keep swapping it out anytime you wanted to, like basically you only had, like, something mapped to the A button and the B button, and that was it, right? And so now you have A, B, X, Y, and then you have the right button. You might have other things later too. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Having the ability to kind of customize, like, I had a friend who was left-handed who preferred, like, the sword in one hand and the shield in the other, and then I always played it the opposite way around. So, you know, having the ability to switch that stuff, I think, makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad on the one hand that they allowed for that customization, although I wonder, just gonna save while I'm here, I wonder, a thing that I think that I don't know. Okay, so this is actually something I would love to hear about from Japanese gamers, if there has been any sort of an equivalent push for greater accessibility in the Japanese gaming space, in the way that there has been in the States, at least as I perceive it. I think compared to certainly 10 or 15 years ago, our industry is significantly better at being accessible, like thinking about gamers with disabilities, gamers who just might have, like, mobility or control issues or whatever else, and, like, designing for a wider audience. That could be, I don't even know if disability is the right term for it, but going from everything from, like, needing to use custom controllers with custom mappings to having, like, fucking you know, like, support for controllers. If you've ever seen people play who have, like, limited use of their limbs and such, playing games with controllers so they control entirely with their mouths, things like that, right? To different versions of oh, right, those fucking things. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Things along the lines of a... Wow, I totally blanked on that. Color blindness, various forms of color blindness, right? Like, I think Sony has been doing a really good job of kind of setting new standards for this sort of thing. Not just them, but they're a great example of, like, games like God of War and Last of Us have a lot of different accessibility options for people with limited hearing, limited vision, just all kinds of stuff. And it doesn't seem to be something that I've seen as much in Japanese games. Again, this is purely anecdotal. I haven't done any research, but, like, From Software doesn't seem to be invested in that at all. Like, even something as simple as the memories. Oh, cool. Even something as simple as being able to remap controls can be a pun intended, a game changer for some people. Like, it can go from somebody not being able to play the game at all to being able to play it, right? So it's not just like a convenience thing. I'm kind of the opinion that that every game should by default have a controller remap option. Like, maybe if you feel really strongly about, as a developer, about your oh, right, I forgot about this. If you feel very, very strongly as a developer about your controller mapping being, like, the intended way to play, that's one thing. And I could see advocating for sticking to your defined aesthetics and preferences. Like, if it's part of the game's storytelling, that's one thing. But even so, I feel like in that case, maybe you just, like, hide it behind a couple of menus being like, are you sure you want to do this? This is not really what we want as a developer. But yeah, even then, it's like, you know, you just make your game more accessible and wider, available to a wider variety or range of players rather, that can only be a good thing, I think. Ironically, there was kind of a pushback. I think so. I do actually make mistakes quite a lot. One of the mistakes that I made in my early game development career was that I thought there was a very brief window where I was kind of like inhabiting the sort of edgy. It was before the manosphere kind of became a thing, but I was like, you know, a few years later, I probably would have been into Jordan Peterson, as humiliating as that is for me to admit. But I was like teetering on the edge of like being into some edgy content and being like not very empathetic and being like oh yeah, the snowflakes. You guys remember the snowflakes and the SJWs and kind of being on the train for that sort of thing. Like, I'm so cool. I'm not. Oh fuck! I forgot I have to use the pots on this thing. I'm so cool. I'm so edgy. I'm not like those people who just want to call attention to themselves. My problems are somehow more valid than theirs, and they are just whiny and weak for having problems at all. You know, like that bullshit, that unempathetic bullshit. Well, I think one of the things that I kind of fell prey to was this. Oh, right. You have to kill the enemies in a certain order or something. Okay, I'm getting too distracted. Basically, I was a cringy edgelord, and I fucking, was like, accessibility in games, why should I care about that? It's, if you just, like, don't happen to be a gamer who can play these games, then... What the fuck? Sorry, I'm like, unable to multitask tonight. Let me finish my stupid thought. I was gonna say was there was a period in my life where I thought that like it was cringy to care about people who needed additional changes made to accommodate them as gamers, and I thought that the effort to push for more inclusivity and more like better forms of controls and stuff like that, accessibility options is the term for it. I thought that was cringe because I was cringe. And thankfully I grew out of that. Yeah, I'm doing something wrong. I forget, there's a specific order you're supposed to kill the enemies. I don't want to go through all the permutations. Yeah. But thankfully I outgrew that. And I think that it is really, really wonderful to see. Oh, there's your piranha plants. Yep. Really, really wonderful to see just how much effort gets put into designing accessibility features, how much a bigger part of the discussion that is. I feel like it's a sign of growing maturity in our industry, that we are willing to like, take the time and effort and money, frankly, to work on empowering people like that and including more people like that in our industry, in our art form. It's really important. Yeah, Shinigami. There's a few YouTubers who have controllers that are basically controlled entirely by their mouths, and they're designed to kind of fit directly into their mouths and be controlled with their tongues and stuff like that. Because they might not have use of their limbs at all, like paraplegic, quadriplegic, just like for whatever reason, folks with mobility issues who can't use their hands, they have these custom controllers. But of course, those won't necessarily work without an interface and some extra work. So generally speaking, when games include the option to remap controls, it's a big help for stuff like that. Okay, so Pole's voice, and then the bat, and then the Stalfos. Shit. I can remember what buttons to press. We found Zoro from One Piece? I'm not sure what you're referring to, because he's in prison. So, shit. So Pole's voice, bat, and then Stalfos, right? Let's do it. No, damn it. For some reason, these controls are like so unintuitive. I don't know why. Damn it. No, don't. Okay. A little closer. There we go. Okay, now the bat, now the Stuffos. Oh, I don't know what you're referring to, sorry. Nice. You fellow Shinigami, though it's the Stalfos, yeah. Cool. Okay, well I think this will be a good place to kind of wrap up for the evening if we can defeat this last boss. Granted, there's still... Oh, that is the boss entrance, I see. Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing the wrong thing. You gotta go up, right? Cool. Was this where it was? It was nearby. I think it was down here. Yeah, it was where we had to hold the pot to... Yep, okay, cool. The random like drum trills and stuff are a little weird to me. But these the face appearing on those blocks feels very old school. That's cute. I like that. Well, don't exactly have a full roster of hearts, but maybe we can one-shot this? Or like first attempt it? Can't remember what this thing does. I like that design. Oh shit, I remember this guy. Yeah. This guy's a total asshole. I love him. Okay, enough. Thank you. Right, and so... There we go. I don't remember that being part of the original. I do remember as long as I have my bottle, but I don't remember that other hint being a thing that came up. Not the end of the world, I guess, but it is kind of weird. That they wouldn't just sort of like trust the players to figure that out on their own. You broke my bottle, you make me hopping mad. Yes, I recall this. Oops. Okay. I really want to try and beat on the first try this time. Such a weird sound. That was lovely. Nice little musical trill at the end and everything. Cool. Yeah, let's get the instrument and let's call it a night. Control. That sounded lovely. Yeah, this game is very, very charming. I would say that it captures the spirit of the original actually quite nicely. The thing is, I remember it being so much harder and trickier and, like, it genuinely feeling like I was surmounting an obstacle, like, really genuinely, like, accomplishing something when I would, pull off a dungeon victory or something as a kid. And that feeling, ironically, now kind of belongs to, the Souls games. I don't think I'm really going to be able to get that out of these old Zelda games anymore. But that's okay. Somebody in a new generation will. Well, with that being said, I think that's a good place to wrap things up for the evening. Shinigami, thank you for stopping by and chatting and hanging out. Same thing with you, Loha. I will check out Sage's video, and I am open to other suggestions as well. I should be around Sunday, so plan on getting together to talk about some more Naruto stuff. Yeah, this has been fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions for other games you'd like me to check out, let me know. I'll probably post a poll Saturday or Sunday asking if folks would like to continue this or switch to something else, but I'm totally down to keep playing. And other than that, yeah, take care. I will see you then. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I'm running out of things to say. 3